It's always nice to talk about these things because they're a lot simpler after you explain them simply than what I make them out to be in my mind.
Yeah. Well, yeah, especially when it's the unknown. When it's the unknown, you're like, well, what if this happens? You're like, oh, this could be so big. When really, lots of times it's like, well, all you have to do is do this. Even in fact, I was on a podcast earlier, or we recorded a podcast. It's REI or Unstoppable REI with Billy Alvaro earlier this week, and we were talking about raising private money. And he said, how do you do it? How do you raise private money? And I was like, this is how I do it. Boom, boom, boom. Very simple. Call, say this, do this, and then follow up with a meeting and say and do this. And he was like, "That guys, just listen to that. That's all you've got to do." And it's not as complex as you might think. You just say, "Hey, this is the value I have to offer. You know anybody that'd be interested?" And then boom, that's done. You're right. And it sounds a lot simpler that way than go raise a bunch of private money. You know what I mean? Or just go find a bunch of people with money that'll loan to you, even though you don't have any experience. So yeah, that's one of, I think, the benefits of having this type of a call, and then also the access to the community through the Slack channel and things like that is it can kind of almost talk you off a ledge when you're thinking something's going to be this enormous thing. I was scared to refinance my first property just because it just seemed like such a big deal. And then once I did it, it was a lot simpler than I thought.
Well, I'm scared to refinance my first property too. Um,